For our lesson today, we're going to be focusing on sketching a polynomial. There are many ways that we can do this, but there are two distinct things that we need to make sure we do each time. That is finding the x-intercepts and then testing the points between the x-intercepts to make sure that we're hitting the right points. An additional step for this could be finding the y-intercepts as well, but the main two ones that we always need to do are finding our x-intercepts and then going through and testing the points between them. So to start off with, we're going to go through and try and find our x-intercepts. Now remember, our x-intercepts are going to be when y equals 0 or px equals 0. So we can go through and rewrite this as x to the power of 4 plus 2x cubed minus 3x squared equals 0. Straight away I can see x squared goes into every term, so I can factor that out. So I go x squared bracket x squared as well, plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Straight away that gives me that x squared equals 0. So then x equals 0. So there's one of our roots straight away. Then we also need to go through and have a look at that quadratic in the middle. So we deal with that, so we go x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Factorize that, so that'll become x plus 3, x minus 1 equals 0. You could also use a quadratic formula for that to get the two values for x, but I could see that it could easily factorize, so we just use that instead. Alright, so there we get is x equals minus 3 and x equals 1. So we have our three x-intercepts for this function. Then to go through, we have to start testing in between the points. So straight away we know that we have, going from left to right, we know that minus 3 will be our furthest to the left. So we want to check something that is further to the left. So we go through where x is less than minus 3. I'm going to put in x is minus 4. So x equals minus 4. If you chuck that into your calculator, you're going to get the answer of 80. So therefore, this is above the x-axis. So that means when you're graphing it, you know that after to the left of x equals minus 3, it's going to be above the x-axis. Alright, going through, we want to then check for the next one, so that'll be in between. So we have minus 3 will be on the left-hand side, is less than x, which is less than the next point is x equals 0. So to do that, I think the easiest one would be x is minus 1. Alright, and you chuck that into your calculator and you get the value of minus 4. So therefore, below. Alright, then we go through for 0 is less than x, which is less than, and next x-intercept is 1. So for that, I'm going to choose x is 0.5. When we put that into our calculator, we get the value of minus 0.4375. So that is also below. The last point is something that's more than x equals 1. So where x is more than 1, I'm just going to go with 2. And you chuck that into your calculator and you get the answer of 20. So that is above. Alright, now that we actually have all that information, we need to go through and put that onto our graph. So that's what we have over here. So we go through, and the first point is to actually put our x-intercepts on there. So I'll go through and just say, alright, that is minus 3. obviously that's 0, and let's say that's 1. Alright. Now remember, we need to make sure that when you're graphing, you have a nice even curve. So just use like dotting or like kind of rough tracing to get the idea of the shape. So I know that to the left, so up here, that tells me that it's going to be above. So I know after -3, it's going to be above. Then between -3 and 0, I know that it's going to be below. But it needs to go back up and hit the x-axis. I then know that between 0 and 1, it's also going to be below. So it'll kind of like flow and then go back and then hit there again. And then last thing is that after 1, I also know that it's going to be above. Alright, so we get our rough shape, and then we're just going to go through and actually draw it in. I'm going to go... So we get a rough looking shape like that.